told me you were VIP. Well connected to the government.
What kind of a moron forgets to pick up his laptop at a repair shop? You're a Biden. Act like one.
Everything he built, his life, I just ruined it all.
I want to know everything that's on that laptop that can ruin my erection.
My friends, it's time to party!
Yeah, didn't you know? I'm taking control. I'm making appearance and I gotta go. Cause I get them dancing with their hands up. Yeah, I walk in and they go bananas. I'm a bad, yeah.
I'm an artist.
And they're cheering my
Tell me how I can help you.
I don't deserve help. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I've been through worse.
You're the smartest man I know.
Thanks, Dad.
I just wish I could smack some sense into you. I'll never forget Corn Pop. He was a bad dude. No joke.
Dad, we were talking about suffering.
No.
I can't seem to find anything but positive stuff on the Bidens.
Who's the point man for the foreign policy in the Obama regime?
Joe Biden. So it looks like you need $1 billion.
So the obvious next question is,
Where's Hunter? I can remember getting paid some money, but I can't remember what for. Well, my dad says we never discuss my businesses, period. Or my cut.
what's happening in there? Joe's in on it.
Party's over!
Much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know, because I've been able to work with these mainstream Republicans. But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country. MAGA forces.
Following the acquittal on Saturday of former President Donald Trump in his second impeachment trial, Trump's future in politics remains uncertain. 57 senators voted to convict him, including 7 from his own Republican Party, falling short, however, of the 67 votes needed for conviction. This next report by Voice of America gets you all the details.
Trump was found not guilty of inciting violence against the U.S. government after his supporters stormed Congress January 6th, enraged by Trump's false charge that Joe Biden stole the election. Democrats said Trump's response.
As you know, this week, Joe Biden came to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to give the most vicious, hateful, and divisive speech ever delivered by an American president, vilifying 75 million citizens plus another probably 75 to 150, if we want to be accurate about it, as threats to democracy and as enemies of the state. You're all enemies of the state. He's an enemy of the state. You want to know the truth? The enemy of the state is him and the group that control him, which is circling around him. Do this, do that, Joe. You're going to do this, Joe, right? I think Philadelphia.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today? Tommy Nation Politics. What's up, guys? Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics, and we are here after dark. That's right, guys. So let's get chill and let's hip hop. We've got Dr. Michael Burgess from the page, Facebook page, administrator and contributor, friend of the show. I don't like that music. I thought it was going to be better. Restream sucks. It's not the best, not winning. So I have a lot of questions to ask Doc. He's a thinker. He's very insightful. Even though we disagree on some stuff, we come together on the life, liberty, and happiness. Well, for instance, Doc, I'm really trying to understand this. I don't hate Trump. In fact, he did some things that I do like.
like not start any wars.
Before.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit. His son smoking crack in Wendy is locked up for smoking marijuana. It's rude. His hypocrisy to the millionth power. But Trump, I've noticed this. He's always taking that opportunity that he could to unite the country, like when the FBI raided his house. You know, leftists, we've been hating the FBI the whole time. He talks about this, the radical leftists. Here, he's talking about how Joe Biden is talking about how he's dividing half the country. Then what does he do, Doc? You're the enemy of the state. You are. So I just want to know your take on this, because like I'm free thinking, innovative, and open minded. I'm trying to figure this out because I really have to get us all on board. And maybe I'm missing something, but I just don't know what to think about this guy. At this point, I wish that he was gone. I wish that Bernie Sanders was gone, and I wish we could just start over, as you know. But
you mean you wish Trump was gone?
I wish Trump was gone. I think he's doing more harm than good. He's not helping himself. He's a buffoon that literally does the same thing that his enemies do. And what's worse is he smears the radical left. He smears the left as the establishment walks all over him. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's talking about the good Republicans like Liz Cheney, George W. Bush. So, like, I mean, either way, it's a rotten orange and a rotten apple to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
You talk about rhinos a lot. I'd like to hear you explain all this to me.
But to be honest, I have never heard Trump disparage like regular citizens if he talks about the left. He's usually like punching back against people who are punching him, like in the media. He trashes the media and they deserve it. He certainly claps back against, if you call them leftists, like leftist politicians or others, you know, who either advocate policies he's not in agreement with. So he may, you know, demonize leftist ideas or leftist policies, but I've never heard him just disparage a whole group of people. He certainly, as president, never like weaponized the FBI because, you know, leftists were showing up to school boards. He didn't do that shit. Anyways.
That's an interesting point, though, because the FBI never liked him in the first place. In fact,
Thomas, what do you think this is all about? Since before he was elected, what do you think the last 6 years are about?
I don't really know.
He promised, and he still is promising, to like pull apart the deep state. He is not the ideal guy. I didn't vote for him the first time. I thought he was like a Clinton plant. Honestly, I swear to God, I thought he was someone sent by the establishment to basically destroy the Republican Party, which he did. He freaking did that. He absolutely destroyed the Republican establishment and is still doing so. They're all gone. They're gone. Kinzinger's gone. Cheney's gone. All of them. I mean, they are the last few
are the
ones who are still like in power. Well, they're out, dude. Liz Cheney.
They're in private sector think tanks making more money than
they're working for MSNBC now, and right, they're
exactly they're making more money than they ever would as public servants.
Well, that's all you got to do is like, you know, trash Trump, and the establishment will let you fail up and give you, you know, millions of dollars. Look at Brian Stelter. Jesus Christ.
You asked me an interesting question. Like, what do you think this is about? Like, as I look, he did try to take the clearances away from John Brennan. He tried to revoke the clearances from a lot of people. And I enjoyed that. I praised Trump for that. Tried to take the clearances away from a torture guy. But at the same time, he didn't destroy his enemies. With a wave of his executive pen, he could have dissolved the FBI. He didn't.
Correct. Well,
he could have,
yeah.
He could have backed out of the wars.
He's not insane, though.
He didn't. Why is that insane? Is that insane?
To just do away with the FBI? He might this next time, if he's elected next time, and he very well could be. He may really do it this time.
You think that would be insane?
It would be provocative. It would, yeah.
But why? You're the one always talking about the government bureaucrats.
Yeah.
Once they get power, they don't ever take it back. These guys were
that's
for
what I'm
prohibition.
saying.
These guys were for prohibition.
Who was for prohibition? You kind of went back in history there quickly.
When the FBI was formed?
Yeah, it was J. Edgar Hoover. And during that whole time.
J. Edgar Hoover, but before J. Edgar Hoover got involved and made them the lethal, potent force they are, they were the whole reason they were brought into being was because of Prohibition, Al Capone, trying to get the bootleggers.
Correct. That was, Elliot Ness and
flipping back and forth jurisdictions and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we don't have we don't have these criminals like Bonnie and Clyde and Al Capone that could just go from Chicago.
They're all elected now.
We can't chase you anymore. Yeah, so I'm saying, what's the point of the FBI though? So what's the point of the FBI then? That's what I'm saying. There's no point.
You're not gonna get. It's obviously what is obviously to me is a political tool of an enforcement arm of the federal government. That's what it is.
That's what every bureaucrat agency, once it outlives its usefulness, it becomes that. I think you're the one who taught me that with your Chicago stories. I'm starting to agree with you a lot on certain things. It's making me very unpopular.
Yeah. Well, you're starting to see. Well, look, Thomas, I hope I'm not answering your whole question. They are so desperate. If Trump was such a buffoon, if he's such an idiot, if he's so horrible, couldn't you just beat him with better ideas and better policies? Wouldn't that be the democratic solution, is to beat him in politics? Wouldn't that be
They don't have better solutions, better ideas, and better policies, though. They don't have anything.
Thomas,
all they have is this division. That's all they've ever done.
Thank you. But he represents those of us who are now apparently, literally, a clear and present danger. Those are the words he used. Do you know what happens when a president uses the words clear and present danger? Watch the movie Clear and Present Danger. He's calling out people who back Trump and vote for Trump for basically political annihilation and possibly like criminality. I mean, if we're enemies of the state and we're a clear and present danger, that's it. I mean,
he's just saying it because of midterms, Doc. He doesn't mean it. He doesn't care.
I'm telling my conservative friends, some of them who are like, they do the angry response. I'm like, don't do that. It is, to me, it's hilarious. And it's happening everywhere, Thomas. Boris Johnson, gone in Britain. Macron is basically a walking dead man in France. The global, that whole frickin' establishment is crumbling everywhere. And they do not like it. That's what the Russia thing is about. That's Russia saying, fuck you to the global order. They're saying, we don't need you. You need us. You're going to push our ass around. Click. Gas gone. You get no more gas. You get no more natural gas. You get nothing. And now they're screeching. So all the sanctions against Russia were really sanctions against the West. And Russia's like, we're good. Gas is like $2 a gallon. They got more energy than they'll ever use and that they can ever sell because they're not selling it to the West. They're like, they're what, people who understand it, they're calling like a civilization state, which is another way of saying a nation that is basically completely self-sufficient. It doesn't owe anybody anything. It doesn't need anybody for anything.
Like a commune?
Well, it's not. It's very capitalist. It's not communist.
You're right. Because there's billionaires.
It's very capitalist.
But
Putin
the
is
whole
a capitalist.
The whole reason we hate Russia is because I agree with you. The whole reason we hate Russia is the Soviet Union was so powerful with the Communist Party of China. We had to do it NATO, and then we started this war when we tried to get. That's a question.
Zelensky.
Life. Yeah.
He's a tyrant. Well, he's an actor. He's like a puppet too. He was an actor who played the Ukrainian president on TV, and so they elected him to it. Yeah.
If they get a hold of that guy, he's dead, bro.
He's a corrupt autocrat. Where do you think all these millions and billions of dollars are going that are going to Ukraine? They're not helping Ukrainians. I know Ukrainians. I guarantee they're not helping Ukrainians do shit.
But just imagine it with me, Doc. I would hear your imagination. What do you think in the end? Like, what's your prediction on what's going to happen to Zelensky? Because what I know what happened to Ashraf Ghani, and I know what happened to Guaido, all of our puppets that we tried to install. Like Ashraf Ghani ran in a helicopter, money flying out of there. Guaido got kicked out of Venezuela. What do you think's going to happen to Zelensky? Bro? What do you think's going to happen to him? Just guesstimation.
You know, there was who's that Russian intellectual whose daughter got blown up in a car. It was meant for him. You know, I think Zelensky, on the face of it, he seems like he's sort of a brave guy. He never left Ukraine. He's still sitting there. He's still playing the tough guy.
We're paying his bills, bro.
But
we're paying his
yeah,
bills.
he's a billionaire now, I think.
Paying his bills.
I just think he should stay out of the sky for sure. Like, don't go in any aircraft anywhere because it'll crash somehow. Yeah, I don't know. He's right now, he's not going anywhere because he's doing their bidding. He's bucking up all the NATO aid. Like, he's doing their bidding. He's the proxy against Putin for NATO. So he's the patsy, and he's useful right now. So they're not going to get rid of him yet. He's their money launderer, man. He's the one doing their bidding. So I guess as long as he does that, he's fine. The minute, if he does anything like, I'll tell you where he'll meet some kind of something, is when he starts negotiating with Putin to put an end to it. That's when something will happen to him. Won't be because of Russia.
I have this weird theory, like, what if Putin just invaded Ukraine just to find Hunter Biden? Like, he's just like, I'm looking for Hunter. Where is that Hunter Biden?
I wish he would say that.
He
That would be funny.
He fucking gave me some fucking $40, $100 bills. Where is that guy? Are you going to see Doc, I feel like the conservatives finally made a fun movie that I would enjoy seeing. After Barack Obama, Antichrist, what's that guy? The guy with Hillary drinks baby's blood. I feel like this is finally a movie that we can all come together and see on a Saturday.
What is that movie? That's had Gina Carano in it. I'm like, oh, holy shit. What is this?
Yeah,
is that Ben Shapiro's thing?
No. So it's Robert Davi. He's a famous director. And he wanted to tell the story, keep censoring it. That's why I keep playing the Try My Do.
Do they censor the Cheney movie or the George Bush movie? It's so fucked up that I'm so sick.
No, because he's been rehabilitated.
This is what bugging me in this country, man, is you've got, I meant to put it up. Like, the FBI is why Facebook is censoring everybody. Twitter is censoring everybody. They told them to. The FBI is saying, yeah, squelch the Hunter thing. Like, no. Or else. I don't know what or else, but yeah. It's insidious shit, man. And the only solution is, because it is still a free country, is to, set up basically a parallel society. You can't fight what they are and where they are. All you can do is give people a viable alternative. That's all there is. Even to the political system. We've got two parties.
What do you mean? Could you explain
about the parallel systems?
Yeah, parallel systems.
They call it, the term for it is parallel polis. Like a parallel society, a parallel city, or parallel system. That means everything, which is what basically Russia did. They have their own financial system. They just completely decimated the use of the petrodollar. Like, that's screwed. So we don't control oil. We don't control international finance, nothing. Because the IMF, Brussels, that World Economic Forum, those assholes, the European Union, all of them, they use international finance as a weapon to get what they want. Regime change, everything goes to their benefit. Nothing really goes to the benefit of the countries, that they are, especially if you don't, jibe with them on their, kind of liberal or woke policies or whatever, if you don't toe their line, if you enjoy your Russian ethnicity or whatever, oh, you're not playing the game, so you're bad. It's like Hungary, same thing. The best thing to do.
I find this very interesting.
Pardon? Iraq.
Okay, so you made some
Iraq is going down too. Do you know that? Iraq is falling apart.
You made some points. I saw a lot of interesting things with liberals about that you mentioned that car bombing that happened.
Killed the guy's
people
daughter.
Were on the internet talking about how they were celebrating that. It was liberals.
Exactly.
Like they're celebrating torture now. I'm sick and I'm disturbed. I'm not trying to demonize anyone, but I'm seriously disturbed.
Absolutely, Thomas. Well, look, and to me, it's not Biden. Biden's a clown. I don't care about Biden. The people that scare me are my friends who are talking shit like that, who are like, yeah, MAGA Republicans. Like put them in jail. You're evil.
Are good.
You're bad people.
Torture's good. Liz Cheney's good.
There's
support. George W. Bush is teaching a master class on leadership.
Liz Cheney's the new hero of the Republic. I'm like, what? The FBI is beyond beyond criticism. They're like, how dare you impugn the integrity of the FBI? I'm like, aren't you Democrats? Aren't you like radicals? Where the fuck have you been?
I thought Bernie Sanders
Woodstock.
was a fucking cuck. Like I literally thought Bernie Sanders was a bootlicker when he was like, Hillary understands. To see these fucking liberals fucking talk about the FBI after they did torture and waterboarding, war crimes. Nancy
it's
Pelosi,
weird, dude.
Now George W. Bush is teaching. So, Doc, who are the rhinos?
Liberal.
Who are the
I was
rhinos?
as liberal as it gets.
So now I want to ask you this: who are the rhinos, Doc? I got to write this down. Who are the rhinos, and who are the?
Who are they, or you mean what are they?
I mean, because apparently these guys are the worst. What are rhinos anyway?
Republicans in name only is what that means.
And
Rhino.
what are Republicans then?
And someone else came up with the better name, Diablos. Democrats in all but Diablo. Democrats in all but something. I can't remember.
So you got Trump talking about how you're the enemy of the state. Biden talking about you're the enemy of the state. Everybody's talking about all the shit. They're all shitting on each other.
Yeah.
Who are the rhinos that are the worst people because they're all doing it? What's the difference between rhinos and Republicans?
Well,
try to be more specific.
What republicanism, when I was a Republican, when it was like Reagan, Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, who was the founder of the Republican Party was the party of freedom. The Republican Party was the party that was inherited down not through Andrew Jackson, but it was the party that came from the Anti-Federalists, from Thomas Jefferson, those who wanted limited government, small government, no central bank. He was very much against Alexander Hamilton and didn't want a central bank. It was basically things should be small and local.
So
that's all.
Yes.
Republicans used to be. Conservative used to be.
Democrats used to be the party of FDR. Who are the Republicans now? And who are the?
It depends on who you're talking to.
What's the difference between Republicans and rhinos?
Republicans now are, I guess, what you'd call America First. The big tent Trump Republicans. He's the guy who kind of is fostering it for better and worse.
America First.
Whatever. America First. MAGA.
And so the rhinos
make America great again.
The rhinos are not America First. And that's the difference.
They're not. They're the neocons. They're the Mitt Romneys, the Mitch McConnells. They're what Republicans used to be, justifiably pilloried for. The country club, rich ass, corporate, give the breaks, the so-called trickle-down people. It's like that. That's not republicanism to me. Neither is that what Reagan was about. That's not what supply-side economics was about.
I'm talking about the present day. The present day.
It's
so could you give me an example of so Mitt Romney's a rhino?
Absolutely.
And then who's who's an America First Republican? Who's an America First Republican?
Well, besides Trump, Ron DeSantis, big time.
Okay.
Perfect example. someone who
okay.
stands up for like regular people. He sat there and was like the last line of defense against all the COVID shit. He protected the people in his state. You know, he fights big corporations who are trying to influence, you know, the politics there. I'm like, if you want to take him on as a political individual, run against him, put up ads against him, but you're like Disney or fucking Amazon or whatever, and you're going to like try to infuse yourself into Florida politics with your, you know, your corporate crap. And then you've got, again, your Democrats and your liberals all going, yeah, big business and big government. Yeah, like let's get that Ron DeSantis guy out of there. I'm like, what has happened to Democrats and so-called liberals and leftists? It's like you're basically the supporters of the establishment now. It's insane. It's like upside down world. And what I guess America First movement is really a populist movement. It has really nothing to do with Republican or Democrat or left or right, even, because Thomas, I have as much respect and as much in common with someone like Jimmy Dore and can listen to him, and Aaron Mate, and even, for God's sake, Bill Maher now, which is insane. I have more in common with them and what they stand for and mostly stand against than I ever do Mitch McConnell or Mitt Romney or Lindsey Graham or Sean Hannity. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're Republicans, I guess. I mean, they're what the Republican Party used to be, but they have nothing to do with what I believe and what I think the Republican Party is becoming now. It's the party of, it's at least that wing, the wing that Biden hates, who's speaking for the establishment. It's the party that's saying fuck you to the establishment. It's anti-establishment movement. And all we have, Thomas, a third party right now won't work. And Trump very seriously thought about starting a third party, and his infrastructure said, no, we can do it through the Republican establishment. Steve Bannon has showed that. He's like, and it's happening everywhere. There's whole entire school boards are getting overturned. Look at all the local elections. You've got, like, there's a Republican mayor in frickin' South Texas now. That's insane. Of where it is. Is that Brownsville or whatever? Where is that? It's craziness.
I'm listening to what you say, and DeSantis it sounds like an interesting. You said Mitt Romney versus, because I'm really trying to break this down because I'm a free thinking person.
Sure.
And I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
So what you're saying sounds like a principled guy. He really went up against Disney and the corporations.
He's a brilliant dude. Look at his background.
If you go to opensecrets.org and you see his top donating donors, you see a lot of familiar donors, public subsidies, lawyers and lobbyists, $204,000, healthcare professionals, $199,000, security and investments, $132,000, insurance, $102,000, conservative policy organizations and think tanks, and business investments and conservative policy message in the double digits of thousands of dollars. So he's got the same donors as Mitt Romney there, Doc. What do you think about that?
I guess you need money in politics. Where else is his money coming from? If he's getting any, because there's a few different sources.
I mean,
of
Bernie's money
funding
for
for
us,
Republicans.
$27.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm afraid
there
of
is.
I think that's what's really making their rhetoric kind of incendiary, because it's very interesting where they're getting their money now. People that seem to be not like the LGBTQ community. That's why they're banging us up. The Mercers, Ron Mercer, the people that founded the Mercer, who is it? In Georgia, what's that university? A Christian university. They're very anti-LGBT, which is why they've been trying to do all of this. I'm not going to say it's the Don't Say Gay.
Liberty University?
I think it's Mercer University.
There's nothing about Don't Say Gay in that bill. That's a bunch of.
Oh, I know. I know.
Media bullshit.
But you are aware that with these parties, just like the FBI, this is escalation. First, they're going to go K through third. Then they're going to go third through ninth. Then they're going to go ninth through 12th. Then they're going to want to do an amendment to ban gay marriage.
They're what?
These two parties, they're gangbangers. I'm just what I'm trying to say is that they always want more. These Democrats, they wanted a security state, right? A surveillance state. So they build an apparatus and store our metadata in undisclosed locations. They want more. They always do. So it'll start with the K through 3. Then they're going to go through 9th.
What will start? K through 3. They basically just want.
Don't talk about your sexuality, kind of thing.
Correct.
It's going to start.
I don't want my fucking kid being taught that shit in school. It has no place.
Do you understand what I'm? Okay, but do you understand what I'm talking about?
Some strange ass teacher talking to my kid about sexuality in any sense whatsoever.
But Doc, address my point.
What is it?
Escalation.
To what? So we shouldn't be giving like 12-year-olds puberty blockers and
back in the 90s, the Republicans
castrating them?
The Republicans wanted to create an amendment in the Constitution to ban gay marriage. You don't think that they don't want to do that anymore? You don't think the Mercers do?
No. That's safe.
Really?
That ship has sailed. Nah,
really don't think
that's not what the MAGA movement. That's not in the MAGA movement. None of that is in the MAGA movement.
What I'm talking about is these movements, Doc. I'm learning these movements are being funded by donors. You can say Soros on the left, but there's people on the right who haven't changed their tune about gay marriage at all. The Mercers haven't. They're very adamant about the LGBTQ community. I'm just letting you know the facts on the money that's going behind this. And you're thinking that I don't want to talk to my kids about sexuality. What they want to do is they want to eradicate homosexuals like they always have. They don't want us to be married. They don't want us to exist. We're an abomination.
Who's they? Then we're talking about some different things.
Robert and Charlie Mercer.
Okay.
Sheldon
I don't know who they are.
I know you don't. They're the money behind all of these clowns. This is what I've been doing on the show, bro. I've been
like who? Like Ron DeSantis? They're behind Ron DeSantis?
They're giving money to Ron DeSantis. Are they behind him? Well, let me ask you a question, Doc. If you call Ron DeSantis, is he going to pick up the phone? What if Robert Mercer? Yeah.
Personally? No.
Yeah. If Robert Mercer calls Ron DeSantis and he gave him $300,000, is Ron DeSantis going to pick up the phone?
Maybe. I don't know.
Doc, you're being silly. You already know the answer to this.
I don't know.
You know society. You live longer here than me. You know about pay to play. You know about Palm Springs. You know DeSantis is a principal guy until his donors call and say you're not going to be governor anymore if we pull the plug on your funding. You're gonna have to face.
Well, you and I agree that that's got to go.
Oh, I do agree, bro. Because that's the problem. Because I don't really know.
But I don't think Ron DeSantis would be doing anything different.
But I don't know. We don't know.
Based on who's donating to him.
Can we honestly say that we don't know that? Due to the blackmail? It's really blackmail. Isn't it?
From what I've seen, there's nothing he's doing so far that I really disagree with.
I honestly don't think that our Governor Abbott, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't push any agenda because the oil industry likes what he's doing already. He's
sending immigrants to Chicago. You showed me that Willie Lightfoot thing.
Yeah. All these. He thinks it's funny. He thinks it's super funny.
It's not funny.
That's not doing
It's
anything.
not funny.
That's taking human beings that with no home and displacing them to other places.
Excuse me. Wait, what? No.
Yeah,
he's sending them where they asked to be sent. Sanctuary City.
They asked to be sent to Chicago?
Yes.
The murder capital of the United States.
Not the immigrants, but Chicago asked for that. New York asked for that.
Okay, but what about?
It's like, you want to come here? Just waltz over the border.
What about? Okay,
don't pass go. Come right to a sanctuary city.
So
no, instead,
this is my
Texans
you're right about a lot of things, but you're like not getting the fundamental reasons for them. The reason is our drug war and the cartels. Like, we're doing this.
Who's we?
Because this is a shithole now.
So Texans should be bearing the full brunt of illegal immigration, not Chicago, not New York, not Washington, D.C. Texas should be picking up the slack. Like what? That's not fair. It may be a stunt.
What we should do is drugs. We should legalize drugs, and we should be funding Mexico and Ukraine.
Wait, what are you talking? You're being silly now, right? You're being funny, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not being funny. We have a huge, serious problem. The serious problem is the reason that these people are coming from different countries is because our drug war has made the cartels rich beyond imagination. They own governments, South America, people,
and Mexico.
Just like in Chicago, the Bloods of the Crips. You join the cartels or die. The cartel economy in South America. If you don't join cartels
and Mexico,
the only choice you have is to run. Because you'll be killed. Yes. So who created the cartels and their wealth? We did with our black market. We created with our crime bill that made a black market so enriched and prosperous. And now we expect them to all just to like stay in their countries as the cartel grows, their evil grows. I think they're smarter than Americans, honestly, because they're running. We are just staying here.
Well, I don't think legalizing. I don't think legalizing drugs
outcome with an orange guy.
Yeah,
legalizing drugs would cripple. They would cripple their black market. It would literally cut their wealth in half, and they would have to resort to other means, just like in
I suppose
it might the mafia. And their what did they say? Alfred says he says in their struggle they reached out for a man they no longer understood. Here's what's going to happen next, Doc. If we legalize drugs, they're going to put all their money into child trafficking and human trafficking, and but then there is the problem, bro.
And what do we do about that? We legalize child sexual.
No, that's when it becomes a human rights crisis. And other nations get involved. And
so pumping people up with drugs is not a human rights problem.
Pumping people up with drugs.
These are like fentanyl.
You mean like COVID vaccines? You mean like COVID vaccines?
That. Yeah, I mean.
So I believe in freedom and life and liberty and happiness. I believe people have their own choices to do what they like. And I've always believed that as years progress.
You sound like a libertarian.
No, because see, we believe in the same thing. I just believe in a different perspective of it. I want a government that works for all of us and not the few. You want like less government because you think government's dumb. I can respect that because it is right now. I think we could reform government if we just hold people accountable and hang them up by their necks.
If the government worked for us, it would not be the size that it is. It feeds itself. So the result would be the same, Thomas. The only government that would work for us is a government that we can keep a very direct and tight handle on. And that is not, 500 people 3,000 miles away. That's my Calumet City mayor and the Cook County clerk, people like that I can keep my freaking eye on.
So
the federal government was created to basically keep the country safe, period. It's not there to be anyone's like handout. It's not there to be the end all be all for everyone's problems in life. That is not what the government is for. That is not what the society is about. You take care of people hand to hand and face to face. You don't send trillions of dollars out of your hard-earned labor to 500 fucking people in Washington, D.C. to dole it out to the rest of us. That is inefficient and wasteful and beyond the point. And you say that you're a caring person and you're the caring type because you believe in that kind of shit. I say you're the least caring person on the face of the planet. You don't understand a thing about human interaction and charity. The government is not the charity. All it is a wealth confiscator. And it serves itself and feeds itself. There's no accountability for it.
It doesn't work for all of us.
It never does.
That's what I'm saying. It works for the few.
That's why our founders took away all of their power. They split it up, not just across the federal government, which they did, separation of powers and branches. They split it up from the bottom up and the top down. Okay. It's supposed to be. That's why there's a House of Representatives that has, and those representatives are popularly elected from the very most basic foundation of our populace.
I know. Doc, the more that you talk about that and the checks and balances, and the more that this government becomes more corrupt, the more I actually agree with you on this. But could you, if you could just take my perspective here. So here we have one of these partisans. They're obviously partisan. So you say protect. You say you don't want your kids, right? To because they have other things to worry about. It's not appropriate, right? So you have an intellectual. Okay. So this is what I see, because this is what the Mercers really want. You see this guy Gonzo on here. He says,
I don't see anything.
Ban gay shit. He put up some comments. So this is what it is. This is what the Mercers really want.
Oh, this guy. Oh, I'm sorry. I see him now writing this stuff.
Yeah.
Who is? Who's Gonzo?
He's just a watcher, but this is just what they. This is what the communication. This is communication. This is comms. So
he's an idiot.
To you,
gay people have nothing about protecting
kids. I'm just telling you, Doc. I'm just telling you, Doc. What the Mercers and these Christian fundamentalists really want to do is eradicate gay people, and this to you is not appropriate. But they are going to escalate this. They are going to escalate.
They can try, but they're not going to succeed.
I mean, I don't even.
They're not going to succeed, man. Thomas.
They've been trying for the longest time to eradicate this.
And where's the trend?
Gonzo's on
trend,
board, bro.
There's more freedom and liberty in the gay and the trans community. I mean, it's gone way past that. We're talking about, you got people talking about, minor attracted people, that it's offensive to call them pedophiles because they're just another segment of society that has a different sexual orientation and preference.
You've been watching House of Dragons, bro? You've been watching House of Dragons?
I'd like to, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't want to normalize pedophilia, but let me just say, like, it's not these kings, bro. They're like, they're macking on 12-year-olds all the time. And I'm just like, I'm not saying it's a normal thing and you should do it, but it's just, I don't know, like, why we get on. Maybe we should. I don't want to defend pedophiles, but it's just like, to me, it's just like, these men have been fucking little girls all our civilization, bro.
And like, that's okay.
No, I don't think it's okay. I feel like it's because they used to call us groomers, gay people in the 60s, because they used to think we were pedophiles. And that's why they're saying we're grooming your kids. They have this whole thing about drag shows and how you should take your kids to go see drag shows because we're grooming your kids to think gay is right? It all harkens back to the days where gay people were considered pedophiles and we'd take your kids and we'd rape because we're degenerates, right? So that's where it all comes from, this grooming thing. Yep. I'm just letting you know, Doc, that these things are coming back and evolving in different ways. And DeSantis with his thing, maybe to you it might mean something, but to the Mercers it might be something else. And it's dangerous because people have agendas, and I can't tell because there's money in politics.
Yep.
How these people act.
That's true. I can't argue that with you. I can't argue that with you.
What are we gonna freaking do about it, man? Because I think that's the only way to get our country back on track. It really is the only option.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to happen from there down, and I'm not even from the governor down. It's going to happen from community to community when you're electing people who, have open minds and fair-minded approaches to, economics and human interaction and all that. It's got to be our school boards, our local mayors, and we agree to things like getting money out of politics. Like, there's a big debate about it, but why any kind of business should be donating to political candidates, I have no idea. Personally, I think
there's only one reason why they do it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they're It's mob stuff, dude. It's mob stuff. It's the same thing the mob did. The mob said, "Yeah, you give us money, and we'll protect you." That's what I keep saying. Is politics is just the mob legalized, and if we cut that shit out, I don't say that solves everything, but it solves that from both sides. Then business has no interest in politicians because they're not able to do anything for them. You got to do for your fucking self. You got to compete with the guy across the street or down the street who does it better, has a cleaner store, better price, whatever the fuck he has. If he's better than you, he's going to beat your ass. If you're okay, maybe you compete with each other or you help each other or you get along. If not, and you're an ass swipe and you treat your employees like shit, they'll go over to him or a guy who starts a business like him. That's how it should be. And politicians should stay the fuck out of it. You don't do anything to help except, they're supposed to make laws. Like, okay, make laws, whatever. Like, what are the laws that regulate shit like that? I don't know.
The law is not to regulate.
You can't fire your employee for being gay. That's a good law. You can't. But that's called non-discrimination. Like, you can't discriminate against people. Okay. Like, those are fair laws to be for everybody. Certainly businesses, anything, right? But in terms of like playing favorites and, accepting money from them to dole out favors. Because people say, I love these people who talk to me about taxation, because I say we should get rid of the IRS. We should repeal the 16th Amendment. We should throw the fucking tax code on a bonfire on the fucking lawn of the White House. Ron Paul is for that. So is Rand Paul, his son. That's what he ran. I'm like, I'm there. I will go to fucking Washington. I've never been there, but I will drive my ass to Washington, D.C. to watch the first president, whoever does it, takes the tax code and has a bonfire on Pennsylvania Avenue. I will be there.
If I see Hunter Biden smoking crack one more time while all of my black people are fucking in prison for smoking marijuana,
well,
I will go up to Joe Biden myself.
Talk to Kamala. Talk to Kamala about that.
I mean, literally, there is a huge
and Joe.
Are they aware of how hypocritical? Are they aware that they go after Brittany Griner? They go after Brittany Griner, who smoked weed in Russia. She would get 9 years in Texas. Why don't you help us here?
No,
I'm so with you on America First, bro. If only I believe that was really the agenda, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just don't believe it's really the agenda. Because it's always a cover up. It's always a shell corporation. Yeah. It's always a fucking slogan and a campaign stump. With these guys. So I just don't know. But I the same thing with Trump. He could have done a lot more. First of all, he could have stopped. Could he really though? Yes. He could stop blaming the radical leftists who are only trying to give Bernie Sanders $27 to fucking give us some health care. Okay, the FBI's raiding your house, Donald, not us. We're too busy working at Amazon warehouses.
Maybe he's seen a bit of the light.
We're being baristas at fucking Starbucks, and we're fucking being beaten down by corporations that are outsourcing jobs and giving them Malaysian girls for 3 cents an hour. We're not robbing the FBI is robbing your house. And by the way, they also did that Steele dossier. The FBI
the FBI did that.
6 years.
But Thomas, I don't get what you're saying, because under Trump, there was more.
He's blaming us.
There was lower black unemployment, higher black home ownership. There was. Why are minorities flocking to that movement?
Flocking to what movement?
The MAGA movement. The Republican Party.
Know, bro. Because he literally got his ass smacked all day by the FBI, and he let them go free. He let them walk. Meanwhile, he's blaming us. Destroy your enemies. That's what Cersei Lannister said. He didn't destroy his enemies. He's smearing the radical leftists. And we almost voted for him.
When did he do that? What did he say about radical? I've never heard him say anything about radical leftists.
The minute his own fucking director, Michael Ray, who he appointed to the FBI, raided his house with an affidavit that was signed by the Attorney General, the first thing he said was the radical leftists and the liberal media is behind this. Meanwhile, his meatheads his meatheads like Gonzo here, who eat that shit up and say stupid shit like ban gay shit. Oh yeah, the liberal media,
Thomas,
the radical leftists, communism.
Thomas,
meanwhile, the FBI
he's not talking about you
destroying life, liberty, and happiness.
He's not talking about you. When he says radical leftists, he's talking about the people in government.
He doesn't realize he's talking about me, but these guys pick up on it, and they fucking yell that shit at us, bro. He's creating division, bro, just like Biden. If he was just dumb and he opened up a fucking encyclopedia or wrote his own book, or maybe he tried to unify the country instead of creating more division and selling his name more times by calling Biden the enemy of the state. If he unified. He actually unified the country.
How would he,
waiting for a president
how would he do that? What do you have to say? We are fighting the establishment, Thomas. He's fighting the establishment.
No, he said I don't like to be a Christian because I don't want to ask Jesus for forgiveness. I don't need forgiveness. He needs to walk one step towards us. I will walk one step towards him. But he's alienating us by calling us the radical leftists. And meanwhile, he's letting unscathed the FBI raid the houses of people and surveil us. And Julian indicted.
When?
Where was the pardon for Julian Assange? Where was the pardon for Julian? It was the pardon.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Pardon Julian Assange. This guy is a fucking disappointment, bro. He disappointed me. I thought for 1 minute when he vetoed the military budget, he was a real serious guy. But then he walked out of office blaming the radical leftists. Meanwhile, the FBI is still in full tact, surveilling us, and Julian Assange is in a prison.
That's who
talking about war crimes.
That's who the radical leftists are to him. He's talking about people in
the
power.
FBI? The FBI?
Yeah, he's talking about people in power.
He did McCarthyism? Yeah,
he's talking about people who hold power,
okay.
Thomas.
So
the media.
You're telling me he's stupid because they're not.
No,
leftists.
I think he's actually clever. I don't think he's smart.
So Doc,
but I think
what
he's
part
clever.
of the media is leftists?
All of it.
When they work with so these guys that work on corporate boards of Raytheon, Boeing, corporations with millions of dollars in the stock market, they're leftists?
Yes.
They're leftists? How are they leftists? How are these corporations that outsource jobs and exploit wealth and labor leftists? How do they do that? Tell me. Please tell me. How are they leftists?
Economically, not.
Oh, okay.
The left.
He's smearing the left. He's smearing the left.
The left.
Doc,
the left uses.
Why are you doing this, bro?
The left uses private industry to benefit, the power structure. That's what leftism is. Leftism is like socialism. Not like it. It is socialism.
Socialism is seizing the means of production from
the government.
Overlords.
The government seizing the means of production.
No, it is not. That is incorrect. It is the people seizing the means. It is the people owning parts of the corporation.
That's communism.
And having investment in that. No, communism.
Dude, listen to Trump.
Everybody has the exact same thing.
There are Trump Republicans, populists. I believe in that.
And the government decides whether or not you become a farmer, you become a doctor. They pick that. It's like Krypton. That's communism. Socialism is when the people seize the means of production. And capitalism is when they take your wealth and your labor and they use it as assets and they use it as what do they call it?
Capitalism. All capitalism means is you own what you own.
So like that's
and
really
you
not
trade it.
I mean,
you trade it freely.
In Webster's in any kind of dictionary, that's not the definition of it. I understand why you think that's the definition of it. When these neoliberals talk about capitalism and the free market, what they mean by the free market is we're going to take your jobs and we're going to outsource them to Malaysian girls, so we can pay them under the minimum wage, and we can make you buy our stuff that you made for record inflation profits, and we're going to maximize our profits, and we're going to do return on investment and growth, and we're going to keep your kids poor, so you can keep buying our shit and you can be consumers.
So
that's what they mean by free market.
So
but it's different.
If workers own the means of production, that means they own the business.
That means they have a say in the direction of the company, and they can decide whether or not the growth quarterly profits are an important thing, or people's actual prosperity and welfare is.
That's exactly what the America First movement believes in. Guy said it. He was talking right to a leftist, one of those podcaster people, interviewing a guy with a MAGA shirt on. He said, "My company gave us shares in the company. So the employees own 30% of the company by shares." Yeah. No union did that. No government told them to do that. That was not a government thing. That's just the way the business decided to run itself.
Okay,
the owner of the business gave the employees freely a stake in the company by selling them shares. So they own a part of the company. And of course, if they own a part of the company, they have a say in it.
I'm glad to hear that you guys are fine with socialism now. Now, if you could stop,
that's not socialism. That's capitalism.
I keep telling you it is socialism. It's seizing the means of production and owning that, having to
seizing. Like you lose me if you say seizing. You lost me. You're talking Karl Marx. There's no fucking seizing.
I know.
Either you
There is
earn
season.
it
At this
and buy
time,
it.
Carpe diem.
You don't seize
we
it.
need to seize the means. We need to seize them. We need to seize the means of our life.
I own my
liberty,
business. You're going to seize my business. You're going to seize portions of my business. Because what?
I'm going to seize the power that was usurped, and that has usurped the reins of government and carved for themselves from the very inches that which brought them to unjust dominion. I'm going to seize that power back, and I'm going to take my life, liberty, and happiness.
How?
You don't want to know that answer yet, Doc, because I keep saying it, and you keep
well, then if it's violence,
me, so
then you're talking like Bane, and you are talking Batman, and look how that went.
I know,
that's going nowhere. That's the French Revolution. That's the Reign of Terror.
That didn't go anywhere at all. The French Revolution didn't go anywhere. I mean, they didn't.
It didn't. It gave us Napoleon.
They didn't get right. Okay, so that was a transition. Oh, by the way,
for like 100 years.
I learned in my master's class that one of the tenets of leadership is to manage transitions well. Countries never manage transitions well because there's all this disorder. And meanwhile, a dictator comes up and takes that power vacuum, kind of like ISIS, caliphate. But if you have a leader that actually manages transitions, can make decisive decisions, you can avoid all that dictatorship. You can actually see, that's what I'm talking about. If Trump could actually just stop smearing us and unite us, he has the opportunity every day with Joe Biden. Joe Biden's whole game is, it's the fucking super predators. Oh, it's the fucking marijuana smokers. It's the fucking distinct minority that won't do the vaccines. He's always blaming a group of people. If Trump could just stop trying to fucking fight Biden and win the presidency and fucking literally just take what Biden says of it. Did you hear what this guy says? He almost did it. But he just has to be like, no, you're the enemy. You're the radical leftist. So sad, bro. I just want one guy.
I think you're misinterpreting stuff.
I just want one man to take this evil and to say, look what this guy's doing. Isn't this ugly? But
that's not what he's doing? That's not what he's doing.
So let me play this clip again.
Okay.
This clip of Trump talking about I fucking deleted early one more. So he says Trump, the enemy of the people. Hold on, it's loving. So this is what I'm talking about. So
who's the enemy?
You heard that speech. Heard that? The media.
He called the media the enemy of the people. He called the deep state the enemy of the people. They are. They absolutely are. That's who he's threatening to eradicate, and that's why they're attacking him. And they are trampling on the Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment.
What's the Fourth Amendment?
First Amendment.
What's the Fourth Amendment?
Fourth Amendment protection from illegal search and seizure.
Oh, interesting. Isn't that ironic? If only he could have done something about that when he was president. Oh, well. If only. He was just too busy going to stuff.
Too busy doing what, Thomas?
I have no idea.
Stopping from being impeached twice.
I mean, literally, everybody wanted to kill Abraham Lincoln. He still fucking got things done, bro. I mean, this excuses that we give our politicians. Oh, I mean, like on both sides.
The country. Bro. Sorry, man.
Oh, he had to drink the Flint water. He's not in charge of the Flint water. He's doing beer summits in the fucking garden.
So what you're demonstrating, Thomas, is that no matter who it is, one person, even if he's the president, can't just save everything. You got to do more than elect a president. You got to elect a president and get a legislature that will support that agenda.
Like FDR. Abraham Lincoln and FDR were the two presidents in our entire history that stood up while an incredibly raucous, riotous majority was talking about the opposite. They said, we'll roll up our sleeves and we're going to get to work. And Abraham Lincoln said, a nation divided against itself cannot stand. And this whole slavery makes our Constitution look bad because we have all men created equal. He pointed out the uncomfortable truths. And Donald Trump is saying this.
As you know, this week, Joe Biden came to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to give the most vicious, hateful, and divisive speech ever delivered by an American president, vilifying 75 million citizens plus another probably 75 to 150, if we want to be accurate about it, as threats to democracy and as enemies of the state. You're all enemies of the state. He's an enemy of the state. You want to know the truth? The enemy of the state is him and the group that control him, which is circling around him. Do this, do that, Joe. You're going to do this, Joe, right? I think Philadelphia was a great choice to make this speech of hatred and anger. His speech was hatred and anger. By the way, the next morning he forgot what he said. You saw that.
What did he say? I never heard leftist in there.
Oh yeah, the one time
I heard Joe Biden and his handlers are the enemy of the state. They are.
Okay, well, I mean
that's
I'm glad he hates Joe Biden.
They got Joe Biden elected. They got Joe Biden elected over Bernie Sanders. They got everyone else out of the Democratic primary. They put that senile bag of freaking air in the presidency. He didn't. Joe Biden didn't do it. He sat in his fucking basement doing nothing.
He got 81 million votes, Doc.
No, he didn't.
Ha! Censored. I don't care.
Yeah. Legal votes. Yeah, he got 81 million. Yeah. Okay.
I don't really care. Either way, marijuana isn't legalized. Healthcare is not a fucking right. People are still in prison.
I don't think healthcare is a right. That's where you and I disagree. My daughter works in the medical field. She's not some servant of the.
We've had conversations about this. I respect you.
It's like saying owning a house is a right. Having a job is a right. Those aren't rights.
I believe that healthcare is part of your life, liberty, and happiness. Like healthcare is a right.
Yeah, but no. It's not. Your life is a right.
It's two.
Your right to freedom.
It's two.
Your right to someone's medical services is not a right.
Oh, of course not. People to do things is not ever good. But I mean, there's got to be some people because they have a Hippocratic oath to do no harm.
Your ability to own a house is not a right.
I know a lot of people that practice medicine that are willing to save human lives if only the insurance company wouldn't sue them for malpractice and all of this red tape would be correct.
There's plenty of doctors consortiums that have nothing to do with insurance.
Exactly. So I mean, all of that to be said, healthcare is a right. There's someone who will help you in this country because
not a right.
We are a country of patriots who do have our common bonds of life, liberty, and happiness. They unite us, and somebody wants you to have that life. So somebody with doctor knowledge is going to help you live if you're sick. The only reason that they can't is because they work at a hospital, and those hospitals are conglomerate business, and they could literally be sued for malpractice if they practice on you without an insurance company first going through and mediating and arbitrating.
Unless they cut themselves from the insurance company and the government.
Can doctors just practice medicine at home like Doc Baker?
In their own, they can practice.
I believe.
Yes.
I don't know.
They can have their own practices. I'm looking into them because I'm not for Obama. I didn't sign up for Obama. I still don't have health insurance. There's called health co-ops. It's doctors who don't take insurance or Medicaid or they don't do any of it. You pay into them. I think it's very cheap. Like for an individual, it can be $50, $75 a month. And you have access to pretty much everything that a doctor can do for you, aside from like the very, very drastic stuff which you would need a hospital for. Cancer treatment, like a broken bone, shit like that.
I know there's a lot of good Christians in Texas that they are doctors and they do like little things like for people that get out of jail and they can't even get a job because of those felony convictions, and they give them dental care and they do stuff like that. It's a good ministry. Those are people that really represent Jesus Christ, and not the Mercers who just want to.
I agree. I could not agree with that more. Yeah. That has nothing to do with insurance. To me, Thomas, insurance is another kind of scam in a way.
I agree. See, I agree with you on that. But see, they have to get their hands into it.
Car insurance, all of it.
They're the middleman. They're the middleman that won't
What is insurance? What is insurance? It's this company taking money from you in case something happens. So what is the incentive? The incentive is for nothing to ever happen.
Exactly.
But when something happens and they got to pay, then they're like, oh shit, we got to pay.
And they don't want to. That's why.
And they don't want to pay. Thank you very much. Or they'll pay, but then they'll charge you an arm and fucking leg so you can't keep the insurance anymore. Yeah.
You're right. It's such a fucking scam. And they want, so to my knowledge, like they didn't, like people that have those ministry did, like they get hounded by insurance companies. Well, how come you're not getting sued from, if you get sued for malpractice, you're going to be held liable. And then a third party can come back to you. It's called subrogation. I'm studying insurance as well. I'm trying to get my master's.
Well, you know, they raided that Amish dude, right? They're raiding the Amish, the feds and the FBI and the FDA, because he's selling, he's raising cattle and selling meat off the grid. So he's not sanctioned to sell healthy meat.
So that's what I'm saying. There's not a free market, Doc. There's all of these people getting in the way of it.
Well,
this free market you're talking about, I wish it existed, bro. I really do.
It can exist. I'm telling you, what you're talking about is the free market. The doctors helping out.
Yeah, it's just not what they're talking about.
Well, you and I agree about that.
Yeah. So every time I talk to you,
you and me, it's mostly semantical stuff. With you and me, it's what I think we disagree about what we label things. In principle, I think we're for very much many of the same things. It's just what we call them.
I think we both know that there's a whole bunch of people that are just fucking making money off of people's suffering and exploitation. And why are they there?
Absolutely.
Why are they there? People that make money off of suffering don't need to be having jobs. They can get another job.
I agree.
Okay. There's plenty of other jobs.
The government would shrink by more than half if that was the case.
Exactly, but it did literally 87,000 IRS agents. Doc,
so would many big companies.
You got $600 in your Venmo? I hope you don't have $600 in your Venmo.
I don't have anything in Venmo. I use PayPal and I have private.
Nancy Pelosi, she needs a new Porsche.
Yeah, they're gonna come after that $600.
Everybody believes
Uber.
You know what I think, Doc? I think that I think Trump will win again. And like all these IRS agents are gonna go after everybody, and they're gonna blame Trump for this, bro. They always do that. They're like, "Oh, you're like, no, you guys did it, but you just got in office." I'm with you there, bro. That's why he needs to be smarter. If he comes back, bro, I need to see some results. Okay,
I do too.
Need my leaders to get results. I need to see some dissolving of the FBI.
That'd be fun. I'd love to see him do it.
Julian Assange. I have a whole list of things. Do you think he'll let me talk to him?
Yeah.
Even though I'm a radical leftist?
Try it.
Trumpy, I don't hate you, bro.
Everyone can talk. You see that kid, the guy who went to the Trump rally to like prove how evil they were, and he ended up saying they're the nicest people he ever met. Just decent people who believe everything that you believed.
Oh, I believe that. I don't think the MAGA people are in any way bad.
I mean, one of the biggest supporters.
There's a large group of dumb people that
Dave Rubin, who's like the face of gay America. Dave Rubin's perfectly fine. No one cares about that stuff, Thomas. No one cares about it. Not even most Christians don't care about that stuff.
David Rubin's shady, though. David Rubin's shady. There's not a friend he has from high school that he talks to anymore. And the Young Turks, what the hell happened there? Like all of a sudden,
Young Turks got Soros money or some shit. Jimmy Dore used to work for the Young Turks.
It's weird.
They hate him. Young Turks, I've never. Cenk Uygur and Annika Sparian, they're asswipes. They've always been asswipes. But now they're like corporate asswipes. I feel like
she's just caged. I feel like Ed is like she still believes that like I could really do good and take Hillary Clinton money. I could do it. Like these people, Doc, they really do believe that like they could take the money and they could still do good with it. But they never can.
Well, that's the scariest kind of people there are, Thomas. Those are the kind of autocratic types who think they're better. That's why, socialism, that's, Cuba, China, Russia weren't socialism. Germany, that wasn't socialism. I'm like, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was exactly socialism. They followed the fucking script to a T. So
how so? Germany.
The
Autobahn
was, it's called the National Socialist Party.
Yeah, but people call things all the time. Yeah,
They seized the means. They seized the means of production
Act is
and
not about
publicized
inflation.
them.
The Patriot Act is not about patriotism.
Yeah, neither is the Inflation Reduction Act about reducing inflation.
The CARES Act was about people not giving a care. It's kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they name things to like deceive you on purpose. So when they call you the National Socialist Party, what they're really saying is we're fucking
They were socialists. So is Russia. The Soviet Union was socialist.
I think they were just racist nationalists. I mean, there's no details.
They were that too, but socialism.
There's no details of like a master race in socialism. It's an economic
socialism.
Theory. It's not about the master race.
Well, socialism is an economic theory.
Yeah, it is.
Socialism is basically an economic
theory. The master
theory.
race has nothing to do with ovens for Jews. It has nothing to do with experiments on black people. It's just about economic theories. It's okay. It's gonna be okay, Doc. Don't worry about it. We'll see.
But when you say seize the means of production, how does that happen?
Okay, so
that's you make them publicly owned.
We get some feathers. We go into Jeff Bezos's $300 billion yacht. We see what ice cream he has in there. We eat his ice cream.
Jeff Bezos is the problem.
And then we cook Jeff Bezos.
I don't care about Jeff Bezos. I don't care about him. I can stop buying stuff from Amazon tomorrow. I won't.
Do you think,
but I would like. I would.
Do you think
if
about
there was an alternative to Amazon, I would use it in a heartbeat.
So,
which I actually do use some things.
You are kind of right wing. So, do you ever think about? Real question. Do you ever think about like how he treats his workers so bad? He doesn't let them go to the bathroom. He fires them if they fucking make stops too late. How does that make you feel? Like when this guy?
It's shitty.
Yeah.
And he's well.
You're a good guy, Doc. Just making sure.
Gonzo would be like, "Yeah, good. Government sucks. Loony laptops."
Yeah, but the thing is, Thomas, you can do what they did. What that guy's doing with Amazon. You can organize. You can win union votes. You can fight back. And I or you or anyone
how do you feel about those?
Can decide not to shop Amazon. You can any day you choose. Buy your shit across the street or do whatever you want. Go to a store, buy anything you want. You don't ever have to deal with Jeff Bezos or Amazon ever in your life. But you can't get away from Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden or Mitch McConnell or the IRS. You can't avoid them. None of us can avoid them.
Won't ever fucking stop running. What the fuck, guys? Get the fuck out.
I don't have a problem with a guy who started some business in his garage and turned into a billionaire. I don't care about that. He did that shit, and I have Amazon boxes all over my basement.
Do you think he ever like fired himself for going to the bathroom?
Probably not.
I want to ask Jeff Bezos.
If someone starts running a business like that, they're gonna fail. Eventually, that's gonna fall apart. If that's how you treat people, that's going to fall apart by itself. The problem with government is if the government does that, you get promoted. You become Joe Biden. You never fail if it's government. It never fails. It just perpetuates because there's no accountability. There's accountability for a place like Amazon because people will just stop shopping there. Yes, there is.
Oh, okay.
There always is. It's a business.
I don't see it. They literally have the world record profits and their stock is up 20 points.
Because they offer a worldwide service that people
they have e-commerce patents and monopolies. They shut down and destroy every business that tries to get in their way, like sharks.
Not every.
Well, how do you feel about unions according to Amazon? Because I know you don't like unions, so I'm asking.
I don't like unions. I'm all for collective bargaining. I'm against like national corporate unions. Who are just political. They're just another political lobby. They're just more
I can see that because it's too centralized and national.
Mob
it's like Black Lives Matter.
It force people to pay them money so they can grease political hands. I'm like, no. If you want to collectively, like you work somewhere and you and your other workers get together and you say, "Hey, boss, we want these things," and trade for those, we'll buy shares in your company. You want to collectively bargain for better conditions or better pay or a slice of the company. I'm arm in arm with you. Absolutely.
I agree with you.
You and a guy, but the man who started that business because there's people all over my family who started and run businesses and fought unions, guys who showed up when we're, building a restaurant for my cousin, and he's just giving us work cash. I'm in college. He's paying us out of pocket. We're putting up drywall and shit. And some union asshole literally just feels like he can walk up on the property, private property, and say, "Where's your cards, boys?" And we're like, "What fucking cards? Get the fuck out of here. We don't have cards." Next day, pickets all up and down Chris's.
Where's your cards?
I'm like, that's just mob shit. I have no respect for that kind of unionization. Sorry, I don't. My cousin can hire whoever the fuck he wants. If he wants to hire me and my other cousin to do tile for him, that's his fucking business. Stay out of it.
So I look at another problem, Doc. Another problem is the mainstream, the media was supposed to be an accountability. They were supposed to hold these powerful responsible.
Yeah, no.
They're not doing that anymore.
No.
So like now it's super scary, and you're local. If you're local and you try to do that, you won't get any coverage, and you won't get any media coverage.
No,
these guys could just replace you.
You know who's winning at that, Thomas?
They give you bad reviews.
You know who's winning at that? Doesn't care. You understand what's happening? Brian Stelter couldn't get 70,000 people to watch him. Take a look at Joe Rogan's podcast, his daily numbers on his podcast.
They're growing.
Look at Steve Turley or your buddy Crystal Ball and Sagar. They went independent. They left the Hill. They have Breaking Points, their own thing. So like independent content producers and podcasters are beating the living shit out of corporate media by millions of people. Like some Steve Turley in his fucking house can get more views than CNN on any given day.
I mean, literally. I mean, could you even stomach fucking talking about who told Cassidy Hutchinson about clavicles? Like that story, January 6th, bro. Like, think about this, bro. In a court of law, it's hearsay, right? She's talking about a story Tony Ornato told her.
Right.
About,
she kept saying, right?
Tony Ornato wasn't even there. He wasn't even in the piece.
What they teach her to say, she said he was purported to have said, or he was purported to have, what she said.
I'm the effing president. She said, Tony told me that he said that I'm the effing president. She said, I'm the effing president.
And he hopped over like 4 rows of seats and grabbed a steering wheel. It's like, and that was Liz Cheney. That's Liz Cheney, the defender of democracy.
We're unreal.
Caesar.
I mean, guys, come on, literally. Judge Judy would be like,
the protector of democracy.
Put your listening ears on. You weren't there, honey. You weren't there. I have to go to lunch.
Yeah, it was funny. It's when people keep trashing Fox, and I always put up. I put up Jimmy Dore when he talks about Fox. He's been on Tucker gobs of times. Aaron Mate, he's been on there.
Interesting guy.
Avenatti was on. Tucker will talk to enemy. Tulsi Gabbard took over his fucking show.
That was amazing.
Yeah, and she gets shit for it.
She needs to stop doing that. Every time she does that, bro, the Democratic Party hates.
That's why I can't be a
Democrat. I feel bad for her though.
Democrats had a chance with me. I supported her. I supported Andrew Yang.
I don't get it.
I will never.
Yang and Gabbard like to be punched in the face a lot. They just hang around those guys.
I guess.
They're like that guy in Big Lebowski. You're out of your element, Donnie. They're like Donnie.
I don't know, man.
I know, bro. Well, the point is that I think you're right about the independent podcasts, and Doc, I need you to help me get. I need you to help me get those. I need you to help me get those. What do you call those? The podcast endorsements. Okay, we need to talk about popcorn. We need to drink some lemonades. We need to talk about how we need to wear some coats.
It's my sponsor. This podcast is sponsored by.
Joe Rogan's 30 minutes of Joe Rogan's show is literally just sponsors.
Use the code.
Have you ever listened to his show?
Use the code Tommy Nation and you get 25% off.
Oh my god, I can't wait till I do that, bro.
Capitalism.
I got Alex Jones's Vitalife. Give me titties. $5.99.
Let's do it.
Free thinking, guys.
Do it. I'm a real estate agent. I'll give you 2 points off your listing contract.
Cool. Well, every time
if you list with me.
You are the administrator of the Facebook Tommy Nation Politics, guys. So y'all check him out at facebook.com/Tommy Nation Politics. Every time Doc comes on, I literally ask him to do all these things, and then he just doesn't return my texts. So it's cool.
I gotta be brave. I gotta be brave, Thomas. Right?
It's cool.
Not worry about.
I'll just catch you whenever the liberals say stupid shit that you have to respond to.
Every day, I walk around in my head saying shit all the time, so I just turn on the mic, right? Get on here.
I just wish they would just go add 2 and 2 together. And
I just don't feel very slick because I don't have any. I mean, know how, but I don't have the time to put up sheets and media shit. So, but if I can just come on and talk, I'll come on and talk. I'll get slicker as we go.
You did really good at the game at the GameStop. What was that? GameStop Wall Street.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and I didn't put up any graphics, did I? I didn't do anything. Okay.
Yeah. So see, you're literally making it too hard. Okay. I do graphics. I just smoke weed and watch Joe Rogan. That's all I do.
Cool.
Actually, literally, Doc.
Oh, you put together these awesome montages, dude. You're good.
I torture myself. I literally go through the mainstream media. I scour what everybody's talking about. I literally want a vacation. But anyway, guys.
Didn't you do that yet? I thought you were going to do that.
I changed jobs because I didn't like my job and the free market. So
damn it.
I'm going to save up a little bit more, but I need to go to Vegas. It's my favorite place. It's the best place on earth for me.
Cool.
And plus Lady Gaga's there, guys. It's late night after dark. It's going to be on the Patreon. So y'all want me to sell some rice? Hit me up at facebook.com/Tommy Nation Politics.
Yeah.
Just for